My first true love. Chapter 2. My head was throbbing. I couldn't feel my body. All I heard was my mom and John calling my name. Jane. Please wake up, my mom desperately said. But I couldn't wake up. Nor I wanted to. I had images of me and Alexander all over my mind. It was not such a good idea to think about him right now. It all reminded me on what happened earlier when we were in the garden, when he told me that he was in love with me and that he was a vampire. I must have dreamt that part, because he couldn't. I mean, vampires don't exist. Jane, how are you feeling? My mom asked, once I recovered my conscience. I'm fine, Mom, I said, smiling slightly. Jane, I think you should go to sleep now. You look pale and tired, John saw, giving a reassuring smile. Yeah, Mom? Yes, honey. Where is Alexander? I asked. She looked away quickly, not meeting my eyes. Something was wrong, Mom. Oh, he went home, honey. Now go to bed, she said quickly. I nodded, still not sure about what just happened. Once in my room, I saw a purple note on my bed. I opened it and it said, I love you. Take care. Alexander single quotes. So it was true then. He really did love me. But what's going to happen with our friendship? Was he going to ask me out? I started to get nervous, not knowing what to do. I decided to take a hot shower, still thinking on the events that had happened earlier when I asked my mom for Alexander. I decided not to think about that anymore after a few minutes of debating what was going on in my head. That night I went to bed dreaming of Alexander, hoping that tomorrow was going to be okay. The next day, I woke up the next day feeling much better, happy in a way. I was feeling butterflies roam my stomach, and knowing that Alexander was in love with me made things better. I couldn't wait to see him. I quickly got up and changed into a dress and flats. Honey, hurry or we are going to be late, my mom said. We were going to go to the lake since it was still summer. Alexander, along with his parents and Marissa, were also coming with us. I'm coming. I hurried down to the kitchen to grab something to eat, when all of a sudden I found my parents standing in front of the door, whispering to each other. Is something wrong? I asked, confused as to what was happening. Jane, we need to talk, John said. I couldn't quite read his expression, but I knew that something was wrong. About what? I asked. We better sit down, my mom said, taking John's hand. Mom, what is it? I looked at her and she was showing a nervous expression on her face. Honey, after you passed out, Alexander called us. We came back running and we saw you were laying on the floor unconscious. We brought you here. Alexander looked scared and nervous. He was always with you. Once we made sure you were okay, his parents pulled us aside and told us that they were moving. They left. Shock went through me. I didn't know what to say or do at that moment. Jane, sweetheart, I know it's hard, but you need to understand that they are business people. They travel a lot. Chat Martin Martino on 08180301421 to be added to his WhatsApp group. They were going to move a year ago, but Alexander wanted to stay. But now things came up and they had to go, my mom said. She looked genuinely sad for me, because she knows how much Alexander means to me. How can he leave without saying goodbye? Tears fell silently from my eyes, and my heart was breaking into a million pieces. Jane, it's going to be okay, John said, hugging me while I was sobbing, trying to think that this was just a dream and that Alexander was here. I cried that day. My parents decided to cancel the trip because I didn't want to go to the lake anymore. The only thing that I have left from Alexander is the bracelet that he gave me on my birthday and a picture of both of us together, playing in the lake. I hugged them both tightly against my chest, not letting them go. I slept that day, dreaming on Alexander and our memories together. I love you, Alexander, forever and always was my last thought before drifting into a long sleep. It has been 5 years since I last saw Alexander. The following day, after my parents told me about Alexander's departure, I talked to Marissa. She told me that everything was going to be fine. I knew then that I was in fact in love with Alexander. The feeling that I got when my parents told me that they had left destroyed me. He was not just a friend to me. He was more, my whole world. Days and nights I prayed for him to come back to me, but I knew that he had already moved on. I got mad at him sometimes. How can he tell me that he loves me one day and that he leaves the next, leaving me destroyed? I sometimes wonder if he had actually replaced me with another girl. I got curious one day and asked my mom where Alexander moved to, but she didn't know. Now I was in high school, surrounded by my closet's friends. Jane, are you coming with us to the mall after school? Marissa asked, holding a bag of chips. No, I don't know. Please, you need to have fun and move on. She was the only one that knew about Alexander, so we just kept in quiet when we were around other people. Yeah, I know. So, are you coming or not? Wendy asked. Yeah. I'll go. They both cheered and grabbed their books to go to their class. We were heading to history when I heard Wendy calling my name. Jane? Yeah. Did you heard of the new guy that is in our history class? No. I haven't. He is hot, Marissa said, smiling. Really hot. I mean, he is like a god, Wendy said. I for one wasn't listening, but I was intrigued. Marissa and Wendy kept talking about how hot the new guy was, until we got to history. We took our sits. Wendy and Marissa sit together, so they had the whole period to talk about guys. I wasn't really a girl that talks a lot, so I sit in the back. Okay, class. We have a new student attending this school and his name is Jack Martin, Miss Lawrence announced. All the girls gasped when the new student came in. He was really hot, but not my type. I ignored pretty much everything he said about himself, until I heard Miss Lawrence calling me. Jane, you're going to show Jack the school. Please explain him the rules and everything that he has to know about the school, she said, turning to face Jack. Jack, sit next to Jane. Jack nodded and came to sit next to me. All the girls were giving me dead glares already, probably because I was going to show Jack around instead of them. Hi, Jack said, smiling. Hi, I turned around and started to draw on my notebook. I heard someone cough next to me. I turned around and saw Jack writing something on a piece of paper. He handed it to me. Making sure the teacher wasn't looking, I gave him a confused look and all he did was point at the note. I opened it and it said, "Can I borrow a pencil, please?" I rolled my eyes. Great. Now he is asking for a pencil. I bent down to grab my bag and pulled out a pencil. When I handed it to him, our hands met and there was some kind of energy that went through me, making me look away. Trying not to blush. It felt the same way when I first touched Alexander's hand. What can that possibly mean? The class went by quickly. I found myself glancing at Jack once in a while, but he caught me staring at him. I blushed immediately, making him laugh. I was getting my stuff now, ready to go to my last class when I heard him call my name. Jane, thanks for the pencil, he said, handing it back. Yeah, it was nothing. So, are you ready to show me around? He asked. A smirk was on his face now, making me uncomfortable. Yeah. Follow me, I said. He nodded and followed. When we got out of the class, a whole group of girls were glaring at me. Not liking the attention, do you? No. They look at me like if they want to kill me with their glares, I said, walking faster. He laughed. Yeah, I guess. But you look cute when you blush, he said, smiling, making me blush even more. This is going to be a long day, I heard him said. I agree, I replied, guiding him to his next class.